Hello everyone, my name is Marianna Dilai. I am an associate professor at Lviv Polytechnic, National University, the Department of Applied Linguistics, and today I am speaking on behalf of the team of researchers, including Professor Olena Levchenko and Professor Oleh Tyshchenko. We are going to present the findings of our joint research on automated identification of metaphors in annotated corpus based on substance terms. The automated or automatic metaphor identification still remains a challenging problem. Of course, some methods have already been introduced, but mostly they have been developed for the English language. And they can be roughly divided into methods designed for semantically annotated, metaphorically annotated, and non-annotated corpora. It should be noted that different methods of automated metaphor identification are based on different theoretical readings of metaphor. However, the most modern approaches are grounded on the conceptual metaphor theory. We should mention here also so-called VU-AMC corpus as an example of metaphorically annotated corpus for the English language, which is annotated applying a specific metaphor identification procedure, which includes revealing the basic meaning of the word and then determining the degree of contrast between the basic and conceptual meaning. Previously, we have developed a method of automated identification of metaphorical expressions, adjective plus noun, for non-annotated corpora of Ukrainian prose, based on the analysis of dictionary definitions, and this method has been successfully applied in a number of studies. You can get acquainted with them. They are listed in reference of our paper. This research presents a method for automated identification of metaphors based on substance terms, namely otruta, balsam, nectar, med, in semantically annotated corpus of texts. It should be noted that there are a number of principles of semantic annotation of corpora, and the proposed method is based, first of all, on theoretical provisions about metaphor within the cognitive theory of metaphor. The analysis was conducted using RAC version 10 data and semantic annotation. However, since RAC version 10 contains semantic annotation of only the most frequent words, we made an attempt to semantically classify the collocates in order to test the hypothesis using principles of semantic classification applied in the Russian national corpus. In addition, we have carried out distributional semantic analysis using information system developed by the researchers of Ukrainian Academy of Science. In the precognitive period, scholar Sklarevska identified the following types of regular metaphorical transference. They are given here in the table. Also, it has been revealed that conceptualization of mental states is characterized by personification, perception of emotions as liquids, fire, light, elements, verbalization by the terms of these concepts. And Olena Levchenko in her phraseological study presents a range of metaphors within the verbalization of mental states. In particular, she identifies the following models. State is a force, normal state is balance, body is a container of states. Thus, formalizing metaphorical models based on these findings, we can speak of a metaphorical hierarchy. A metaphorical hierarchy is somewhat different from a semantic hierarchy of features. Mental states, feelings, cognition, speech are metaphorized in terms of physiological states, life, death, body temperature, personification, elements, flora or substance, but not vice versa. Physiological states are metaphorized by personification, elements, flora or substance. The research hypothesis is that the combination of nouns belonging to different levels of hierarchy in terms of their semantics should indicate the formation of metaphor. The greater the interconceptual distance, the more likely it is a metaphor. Substance nouns are at a lower level of hierarchy than nouns belonging to semantic categories or themic classes, abstract existence, mental, human qualities, behavior, psychology, emotions, speech, and in terms of substance semantics, a number of mental states are metaphorized. In the table given here, you can see blended conceptual domains during the metaphorization of mental states, including substance, usually fluid, in particular poison, balm, nectar, honey, which we address in our research. We can state that, for example, the metaphor anger is poison is universal and it has various manifestations in the Slavic languages. For example, in Ukrainian, psuvati, zipsuvati krov, literally have spoiled one's blood, meaning to be nervous, irritated, or to cause someone a lot of trouble, to make someone nervous, to irritate someone. Similarly, in Bulgarian, Polish, we can find metaphorical expressions of this type, of this model. In Bulgarian, we observe also the use of the actual term poison in such metaphors. Traditional linguistic analysis of metaphor within cognitive linguistics consists of three stages. In particular, identification, interpretation, and explanation. Metaphor identification is initially concerned with ideational meaning, that is, identifying whether they are present in a text and establishing whether there is a tension between a literal source domain and metaphoric target domain. Metaphor interpretation deals with interpersonal meaning, that is, identifying the type of social relations that are constructed through them. And metaphor explanation is concerned with textual meaning, that is, the way the metaphors are interrelated and become coherent with reference to the situation in which they are used. The data necessary for the automated metaphor identification are obtained at the stage of interpretation. When blended conceptual domains get formalized description in the form of classification into semantic categories or semantic classes. In this paper, at the stage of human identification of metaphor, we view collocations of a formal grammatical model, a substance noun plus noun. The second component of collocation is classified based on a particular semantic category or thematic class it belongs to. In linguistics, the metaphors of this kind are called genitive metaphors or metaphors comparisons. However, it is necessary to take into account another property of such metaphors. In the course of metaphorization, we can observe complete or partial transfer of terms at the verbal level from blended conceptual domains. For example, баламутити голови кому, which means to fool somebody, to incite somebody to bad actions, deeds. This phraseological unit includes the component голова, head, which belongs to conceptual domain human being, and balamutete, to muddy, belongs to conceptual domain water. The metaphors of the model substance, noun plus noun contain terms of two conceptual domains, which provides explicit markers for automatic identification of minimal metaphorical context. In fact, the substance noun metaphorizes the second component in the collocation. On this slide, we can see corpus findings. In total, 643 contexts with the component otruta, poison, have been identified. In 415 cases, it is used literally, and in 228 cases, it is used metaphorically. The obtained results contain 11 errors. In a number of cases, in the literal use of the word otruta, poison, in the right-hand position, we find words belonging to the semantic categories or thematic classes, which hypothetically should indicate metaphorical nature of the word otruta, as you can see in the example given here. The accuracy of the results depends on the stylistic type of the text. False identification is found in texts of scientific and popular science styles. In addition, in the model substance noun plus noun, the second noun is mostly in the genitive case, functioning as non-agreed attribute. Therefore, the verb in the sentence semantically agrees with the conceptual domain in our case of substance nouns. In other words, the prototype poison is a liquid. The identification of metaphors through the semantics of the verb in this case will be ineffective. In the table given here, you can see non-metaphorical collocations. We have singled out the following cases of literal use, and most lexemes belong here to semantic categories of animal, human, and plant. Concerning metaphorical collocations, we have revealed that in the right-hand position, the most frequent are lexemes of such semantic categories as abstract, emotions, human qualities, psychology, speech, and others. Concerning metaphorical collocations, 18 cases were identified incorrectly. Inaccurate results are obtained in a poetic context. The lexemes серце, кров, сльози, heart, blood, tears in fiction. Text can acquire symbolic meaning, and it should be taken into account in metaphor identification. Also, when formal approach doesn't work, when the word otruta, poison, collocates with words that belong to thematic class, group, or collective objects. as in the example given with the phrase «духовные утруды народу». In the course of the study, we have calculated the ratio of metaphors and non-metaphors for collocations containing substance nouns otruta, balsam, mat, nectar plus noun. We have revealed a high percentage of metaphors among the collocations with the component balsam. You can see that 46% of the collocations with this component are metaphorical ones. It should be also noted that in all the sentences with metaphorical collocations, metaphors, we can see extended metaphors or combination of metaphor and metonymy, so-called metaphonymy. Interestingly, metaphorically synonymous terms balsam, balm, and nectar, nectar verbalize the concepts which only partially intersect. And collocations with the component mat, honey are metaphorized the least frequently. Typical are collocations with the components кохання, знання, вчення. In our opinion, to optimize the process, any automated identification of metaphors should begin with building a database of stabilized metaphors, because in many cases, considering the minimum metaphorical context will not give the expected results. Thus, the study revealed conceptual domains that are blended during metaphorization. We calculate the semantic distance between words that verbalize the concepts in question. In distributional semantics, words are usually represented as vectors in multidimensional space of contexts. Semantic similarity is calculated as the cosine proximity between vectors of two words and can have values with -1 and 1. The value of 0 means that these words do not have similar contexts and their meanings are not related to each other, and the value 1 indicates full identity of context and consequently the proximity of meaning. So this table shows distributional analysis and indices of semantic similarity of substance nouns, as we see, are within the range of 0.43 and 0.62. This table shows that the indices of semantic similarity of metaphorical collocations are below 0.33, and the range of indices of non-metaphorical collocations is approximately 0.1 and 0.5. All in all, we can draw the following conclusions. Semantic distributional analysis of collocations of the formal model substance noun plus noun gives over 90% of accurate results. The collocations of the model substance noun plus noun of semantic category of abstract, psychological, speech, word, text, physiological, mental, emotion, existence are metaphorical. Identification procedures require additional clarification, especially for the collocations of the model substance noun plus noun of space, human group, and toponym in fiction texts in particular. The interpretation of collocations that include somatic symbols is problematic. The model noun, substance noun plus noun of disease, size, is non-metaphorical in scientific and popular science texts. Semantically annotated corpora provide the basis for creating techniques for automated metaphor identification. In addition, we claim that a starting point of identification is the idea of metaphorical hierarchy. That is, the concepts that are at higher levels are metaphorized in terms of the concepts of lower levels. And also, it means that the greater interconceptual distance, the more likely the creation of metaphorical meaning is. Last but not least, the distribution of conceptual verbalizers at different levels allows us to describe formal models of potential metaphors. Thank you for your attention and see you at Collins 2021. Goodbye.